Good morning and welcome. Another beautiful day in the month of September. Yes, this is Quest Television. My name is Sarah Mowigo and I'm not alone. I'm here with my colleague, Mr. Alex Bonaya, and our stream guests, honorable guests, Commodore Domo. It's good to have you back. With that being said, welcome you guys to the newspaper review, looking at the trending story in the world of news, sport and entertainment. And as usual, we'll be looking at the papers this morning, see what they have for us. And because of time, we'll be diving straight to the papers. But the first paper we have this morning for review, Mr. Alex, please take the lead.
Okay, thank you, Sarah. We're going to kick off with Daily Trust newspaper this morning, and Daily Trust begin with a sports-related story. Why Nigeria lost 2025 AFCON bid to Morocco. I thought it was 2027 co-host with Benin Republic.
Could be dead for 27.
Okay, so you want to know more on that? Go get yourself a copy of Daily Trust. It comes with a rider though. The riders are economy not hosting our priority. We weren't strong contenders. Event would have brought fortunes. Okay, and directly below the masthead, Wike sacks heads of 21 Federal Capital Territory agencies. 271.9 billion naira goods unsold in first half of this year. That's according to MAN. And still on the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper, Maulud governors can Abbas preach unity, peaceful coexistence. And Access Bank invests over 200 billion naira in agri-business. You can read up that story on page 19. Vehicle imports at Tinkan drops from 32,000 to 4,000 in 5 years. And finally, from the Daily Trust, no regret leaving banking for greenhouse farming, young entrepreneur. That story can be found on page 22. And of course, yesterday was Eid al-Maulud. Our picture of the day here on the front page of Daily Trust. You see pictures of Muslim faithfuls. Well, the picture didn't say where, but probably in some parts of the country, celebrating Eid al-Maulud. Yesterday, we say congratulations to our Muslim brothers and sisters.
All right, next paper up for review is that of the Punch newspaper, and the big story here reads: Labour force federal government meeting insists on indefinite strike. A kick on the near story says any fresh meeting won't stop us. It is going to be mother of all strikes, Labour Union vows. Federal government says new meeting date will be announced. TUC asks government to account for subsidy removal savings. You can read more on that on page 2 of the Punch paper. Well, above the big story, we have other headlines there says debt crisis, stop tax waivers, IMF tells Nigeria. You can read more on that on page 20, or what you will get on page 24 of the Punch paper says Afrimex Bank 6 buyers for NNPCL's crude. And on page 2 of the Punch, Chicago academic record, Atiku plans fresh suit against Tinubu. That one is still on. Another story here says, can governors preach peace, hope at Eid al-Maulud? You can read more on that on page 18 of the Punch paper. And just like that of the Daily Trust, we see pictures of Muslim faithful celebrating the holiday. One on page 12 of the Punch paper says Afenifere accuses Obasanjo of ridiculing Obas and demands apology. You can read more on that on page 12. And on page 4 says Ondo woman kills husband with pistol, flees. Yes. Pipeline repairs gulp 35 billion naira in 18 months. Vandalism persists. This is coming from Vanguard report, from Punch report, and you can read more on that on page 19 of the Punch paper. Because of time, that is the much that I can take.
Okay, that almost got me unawares. Okay, let's go straight to the Daily Sun newspaper. As expected, the Daily Sun is leading with the strike, which Labour has called. The lead story actually is captioned, Federal Government considered options to abort Labour strike, and it comes with the riders, malls, court injunction, well-being of Nigerians. Okay, MAN, others urge Labour governments to factor well-being of Nigerians A VAT strike. Afenifere calls for more consultation. Tinubu may unveil fresh palliatives in October 1 broadcast. The full gist can be found on page 6 of the Daily Sun. And by the side of the masthead, NAF strikes IPOB ESN hideouts in Anambra, Imo. That's on page 6 or 4, I beg your pardon, of the Daily Sun. Angry directors petition presidency over alleged AGF's age falsification. Others. Details are on page 25. Your allegation, spaceless, says Maiden, whatever that means.
Maiden, yeah.
Okay, so I guess that's the name of the AGF or so. Okay, bandits sack Niger community, establish camp, villagers flee. Details of that are on page 5. Ganduje hits Kwankwaso, calls him serial presidential election loser. Idem allude, governors, others call for religious harmony, patriotism, unity. Okay, we hear this every time. Fire kills 113 at Iraq wedding. Arrest warrant issued for owners of wedding hall. And finally, Abia plans takeover of Ojukwu Bunker War Museum from federal government. That is on page 8. And of course, like we have on the front page of Daily Trust, we also have that on the front page of Daily Sun. A picture of the day, thousands of Muslim faithfuls in a street procession yesterday across the country. This one is in Agege, Lagos. Wow, as they celebrate Eid al-Maulud. What a beautiful sight to behold. Okay. All
right. Moving on to Vanguard paper from our sponsors. The big story reads, strike. How Labour veterans got NLC, TUC to close ranks. You can read more on this on page 14, and the kick underneath there says NLC, TUC, each working separate agenda for same purpose. NLC not carrying us along, TUC alleges. TUC betrayed our trust, NLC counters. Veterans of Labour movement intervene. NLC, TUC leaders meet, iron out differences, jointly declare strike. Labour Party backs strike. You can read all of this on page 9 of the Vanguard paper. Well, above the big story here, the masthead says NNPC $3 billion loan. Afrimax Bank opens forwarding talks with oil traders. You can read more on that on page 5 and on page 25 of the Vanguard. Biden appoints Osage, Masoge, Chineye, Ogumike as advisors. And we have another one here that reads, Eid al-Maulud, Akpabio, Abbas, Obi, governors, can others call for prayers, peaceful coexistence. You can read more on that on page 29, and on page 8 of the Vanguard says insecurity stopping us from opening tourist sites in Niger. This is coming from the governor of Niger State. Bank customers pay 154 billion naira fee for e-banking service. You can read more on that on page 19. Well, moving down below the big story here says diphtheria, we will need additional $3.3 million for widespread vaccination in Nigeria. This is coming from UNICEF. You can read more on that on page 9 of the Vanguard paper. Live well, be happy, death calls on us daily. Reflection on human flourishing in Nigeria. You can read more on that on page 15. Gas flaring sacks over 27 communities in Imo State. You can read more on that on page 13 of the Vanguard paper. Another story reads, 3 killed, 9 injured as gunmen kidnappers storm Kwara. You can read more on that on page 8 of the Vanguard paper. What you will find on page 4 says Kwankwaso, a serial contestant coming from Ganduje. VCs present report of challenges facing universities to Education Minister. You can read more on that on page 9. Well, in the world of sport, AFCON 2025-2027 hosting right. CAF rejects Nigeria and Benin bid. And last, like I can take from the Vanguard reads, if there is a perceived gap between what a leader says and what he really means or represents, his narrative would fall. And this is coming from Olu Fasan. And that is the much then we can take from all the papers this morning.
Okay, I think we'll have one last paper, Nation newspaper. let's quickly look at Nation newspaper. It is no longer news that there will be elections in 3 states next in November, Bayelsa, Imo, and Kogi. But however, INEC is worried about situation in 2 of the 3 states, Imo and Kogi. The story is captured on its front. The story is captured on the front page of the Nation, and it is captured: INEC insecurity threatens November 11 governorship polls. As a lead story on the front page of the Nation newspaper. Youths unwilling to work in ad hoc capacity, says National Commissioner. Trump inflated assets value. That's also on the front page. This is according to a court in the U.S. Above the masthead, next Edo governor must respect monarchy. That's the Omonoba himself talking, I guess. And 48 hours rain to ground FCT Edo Kwara, 22 states. This is according to Nimet. And still above the masthead, 2 women arrested with 1,000 rounds of ammunition. Shagam court killings, DSS moves to unravel masterminds. Guns everywhere. Yaba Ikeja along bridges open for traffic next month. And finally, on the front page of the Nation newspaper, Obasanjo should apologize to monarch, says Afenifere. Group seeks support for Tinubu. That's that from the Nation, and of course, that's all we have time for on the paper review.
We've gone through all the dailies. It's time for us to come to our comrade Odomo. So yes, so many headlines this morning, so many stories. Which of them has caught your attention?
Yeah, so many of them. The most important one for now is this elections and insecurity. Yes, the elections in the 3 states, especially in Imo, to me, it is going to be a very volatile.
Even in Kogi State, yeah.
Yes, even the Kogi may not be as volatile as Imo, considering and putting it to into consideration of the IPOB and the ESN in the state. You know, the governor of the state is one of these people that does not even want to hear anything about IPOB and ESN. So it's going to be very, very difficult in those states. And for now, I believe that is the reason why they are stepping up. They are stepping up their onslaught in those areas. Because starting yesterday, the military helicopters bombed several sites, the hideouts of IPOB and ESN. And when you displace people like that, they may result into small arms struggle. So people will be skeptical going out to go and cast their votes on that day. But as Nigerians, I should think that there wouldn't be any uproar if they go out for elections on that day. But let's see what the military and the security agencies will do before that day. Then when we talk of the issue of the Obasanjo and the monarch.
Yes.
When this issue came up last week, we did say on this table that if you blame the termites for eating the yam for growing out of the soil, you should also, if you blame termites for eating the yam, you blame the yam for growing out of the soil. If the Obas were supposed to be in their palace, or yes, their domain, after the birthday or whatever they were doing, and they now go there to pay homage, I don't think all this ones will have happened. You are the custodians of the forefathers' wealth. That's what they call it in the Yoruba land. They are the Arole. They call it Arole. When you are in that position, there are so many things you don't do. If you want to worship the oracle, you prepare to wear the dress. You cannot pretend to be kissing Christ in the afternoon and shaking hands with the devil in the night. These kings, we should stay in our domain. Let everybody that is coming to see you come to your domain and pay the normal homage to you. But what Obasanjo did was actually very bad. We should not support what is not good. What he did was very bad. You don't take advantage of such issues. When this thing happened to Bode George's father in those days, his father was one of those people who was able to see the light on time. He was one of the first set of people that attended school with Awolowo, and he was able to travel out. So when he came back and he entered into a hall where the Obas, everybody was seated, he said everybody should stand up and greet him. The man said, the Obas said, no, I will not. And he continued shouting on the man. The man said, okay, he's not spoken Yoruba dialect. Continue backing.
Continue backing.
And the guy went, and the guy back from there, got home, was still backing, back the following day, and the man successfully died. But do we still have those type of command from our people these days? Because most of our hands are soiled.
Well, yes, this segment will not be complete if we do not open our phone lines to hear from our listeners. Yes, we want to feel your pulse. We want to get what you think about the headlines this morning. The numbers are on your screen, but for those of you listening by radio, the numbers are 081 88 888 931 or 080 22 931 931. You've got 45 seconds, your name and your location.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, ma.
Good morning. What's your name and location?
Yeah, my name is Friday Yesele, calling from Exobono.
Okay. Go ahead, we can hear you.
Federal government looking for option to stop strike. I want to say that instead of looking for option to stop strike, why don't you look for option to stop what is causing the strike? That is the most important thing. Instead of stopping the strike, look for the option to stop what is causing the strike. Let us start the knitting a board in this country. The Bible recorded that the children of Ishaka, there were men who have understanding about future. Please, we need to have understanding about future. To sort of to attend to some certain things that we need to attend to in time. Not be when while time people go to quarrel. They go say that they quarrel. But when matter they not go stop the matter. When they have issues. Please, let us be knitting in board in this country. It will help us to some extent. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for that one. I believe one of the papers read that Tinubu might release new palliative by October 1st, and the strike is to commence October 3rd. Yeah, so let's see, do we have another caller on the line?
The president's speech will to assuage. Okay, there's a caller, let's take him.
Right,
hi, good morning to you.
Bandit sacks Niger, this is what I heard from Mosuga. Bandit sack Niger community, plants that flag there. Now, this issue of banditry is coming very this manner. Can the immediately put your together and start this for? Must there be seen as to this? I don't know. We have got news for the of it now. The judiciary for Christ's sake. Then finally, we have to accept some states limits. Now, I think the federal government is really trying to wait this because they supposed to release some of the flood-prone areas. What is their plan to say that they are affected? And in the state, they say this message to the residents of those states. Have a good day, man.
All right, thank you very much. But because of time, that is the much that we can take. All right, I remain Sarah Mowigo, and I've been doing this with my colleague, Mr. Alex Ogbonaya, and of course our guest, Comrade Odomo. And yes, the whole crew is saying goodbye. Stay tuned to Quest and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye for now.